Welcome to the Pinch Masterclass series. In this video, we'll be showcasing system navigation basics to ensure that you know how to get around the Pinch system and where you can go to find certain information about relative features, payments, and invoices. So let's get started. The first section that we're going to be covering today is our general feature navigation. So this includes the dashboard, customers lists, payments, plans and subscriptions, and our settlements feature. After that, we'll be talking about general account management features. So let's get stuck into it. So, first of all, whenever you log into the Pinch system, you'll be greeted with this page here, which is our dashboard. You can find this icon up in the top left hand corner. The dashboard is a general information source for your overall activity of your account and also shows you your age debtors list. So, these are clients that have an invoice that is at least 1 day overdue, up to 90 plus days. You can see the total balance, and you can also get a full summary of your total invoices and total amount in Australian or New Zealand or US dollars, based on what your account is, for how much your clients owe you and how overdue they are. From this list, a couple of features. At the top here, you'll find a Get More Out of Pinch tab. You can always drop this down to book in merchant masterclasses, look at our new features like the Chrome extension or our new notifications hub, as well as sign up to our Pinch Partner program. If I scroll down a little bit further here, you can also click into any of your clients' list in this list view, and you'll be taken directly to that customer card, or as we call it in Pinch, the client details page for that client. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I hope that your list is not that long, you can get some general summary information about your total number of attempts for per certain period, successes versus fails for the various payment types, and your total number of attempts. This is just sort of spotlight information to give you sort of a general health summary about how much volume you're using Pinch for. So that's the dashboard feature. The next feature that we're going to be talking about is the customers list feature. So the customers list feature can be found here on the left-hand side under the customers tab. This list is everywhere that you manage everything related to your customers. If you're using a connected accounting system, the clients will sync over from your accounting system into this section. And from this section, you can do a variety of things. You can select clients and send them pre-approvals or customer portal invitations. You can also set their specific surcharge settings or do this in bulk as well. You can also disable the client, and you can also apply filters at the top. So you can look at certain subsets of your client base. For example, all clients who have active pre-approvals, I can filter for here, or I can look for people who have been invoiced in the last 30 days, and you'll be able to see the number of records, total list. So this allows you to apply general filters to your client list. One little extended feature to this is the export CSV function in the top right-hand corner. This actually allows you to bundle up a collection of clients. Say, for example, I would like to export a CSV list of all of my clients with active pre-approvals. All you need to do is filter and then export, and the exported CSV will contain your filtered parameters. Up here, we also have the Sync Action Center. Sync Action Center is where you'll see any information about client records that have failed to sync to your accounting system. Typically, if this is happening and you are getting emails about duplicate clients, it is because they are duplicates, and it may be that you're misusing one of our sign-up links, or you accidentally created two records instead of using an existing one. And this is where you can get some sort of general information about what's happened and how to resolve that issue. So that's the customer section in a nutshell. Dropping quickly into an actual customer, we'll click into their record, and this is our client details page. So from here, you can edit and change settings specific to this client. You can also see the link to the accounting software. You can also see their current sync status, as well as volumes about how many payments they've processed, pre-approval information, customer portal information. And then down the bottom of the page is you'll find your subscription sections where you can see how many subscriptions the client is activated on. And then you have your individual payments, or in this case, invoices tab, where you can see the invoices that the client owes, in this case, scheduled. So these invoices have a future date. You'll also be able to see their payment statuses as well. And you'll also be able to process merchant initiated actions if you have a pre-approval for that client by the checkbox under the Actions Center. The important piece of information to draw out for you here is the Notes and Logs subtab. So scrolling all the way to the bottom of the page, hitting Notes and Logs, this gives you a running summary of all activity for this client and can often be a really good spot to spot check things if you think something's gone wrong or you don't really understand the timeline of events. Say, for example, someone said to you they paid you via EFT, but you actually realize that they have been auto debited by Pinch. You'll be able to see that information in here. So that's the customers and customer details pages. The next section that we'll move on to is our payments tab and everything related to payments. So, payments tab over here on the left hand side is where you manage everything related to your invoicing and payments. So, if we click into this tab, you'll see a few things. First of all, you'll see our various sub tabs at the top of the types of invoices as they are categorized. Scheduled payments are future dated invoices. So, any invoice that has today's date, for example, this invoice, or future date will be appearing in here. This allows you to see what you have upcoming and whether or not they're scheduled for automated debiting. So, an example, this invoice this morning in a normal production environment, so a real account, would have processed this morning and moved to the processing tab. So, what I'll do now is I'll just process this payment to move its status. But alternatively, you'll be able to see other payments that are upcoming as active pre approvals, and that will allow you to know whether or not you're expecting to have the system take those debits. So, heading back to the payments tab now, you'll see that we've now processed that payment. This is your process payment tab. This shows you everything that has successfully processed or is currently in flight. So, you'll notice here that we have all successes at the moment. But in your account, if you are using direct debit, you will often see statuses that say processing in blue. This just means that they are currently in transit and take about 2 days to complete before we get a return notice to say that they are successful or failed. Failed payments, anything that has failed and for whatever reason it's failed. Outstanding payments are all of your outstanding payments, and sometimes where you can find payments that are eligible to be processed if you have a pre approval for the client. Refunded payments gives you an overview of our refunds. So you can see the reference. You can also see what the invoice was and who was refunded. And you can also see invoices on breakdown plans. So what invoices have you assigned to what subscriptions? So that's our general payments page. The last thing to look at is the actual payment details page. So if we go back to our process payment, we jump in here to Geraldine Sherman's invoice that was automatically debited, and we click in. From here, you'll see a few things. The first is you'll see the payment attempts data. So this will tell you when the payment happened. And then you also get your payment audit log that tells you what's happened. So in this case here, we had the system create the invoice. We didn't have pre-approval. And then eventually we had pre-approval in time for the payment to automatically debit. And it's been set as paid in the accounting software. If you're using Xero, you also have this feature available to you to just draw down the actual invoice history so that you can see the raw data of what Xero has received. So that's good information for you to know. So that's everything related to payments. Moving on to plans and subscriptions. So this feature allows you to build custom subscriptions or payment breakdown plans. This feature can be found here on the left under plans and subscriptions. It's important to note that there really are two types of subscription or two types of payment plans or subscriptions in Pinch. There are subscriptions, which will generate invoices and sync them to your accounting software. So that includes these two subtypes called create invoice per payment or generate a single invoice. And then the second type is a breakdown plan. So this is the one that if you have an existing invoice from your accounting software, you can chop it up. This feature is where you build them from, which is found inside of the plans and subscriptions feature under the add payment plan button. And from the right-hand side here, you can navigate and view your subscriptions and search for them by name or filter them via status. For example, I would like to look at all my cancelled subscriptions, and I can see here these 3 clients have cancelled subscriptions. So that's everything that you can do in subscriptions and how to view them. The last bit is looking in the actual payment plan. So, for example, I'm going to click into this 12 monthly payment plan and I'll be able to see the details of who is on my 12 monthly payment plan. If I click into the actual client record for the subscription, I'll get the full breakdown of their actual subscription details. So this is this client on this plan chopping up this invoice. If you need to send your client a link for them to be able to view how many payments they've made towards the subscription because they've lost their original email that provides them that information, you can just copy this URL here and email it to them, or you can launch the page and actually see those details yourself as well, and pass this on to your client. So that's everything related to the subscription feature and where to find things. The last thing that I will look at in this section is settlements. So the settlements feature is where you can track and manage the settlements and disbursements from Pinch. If I head over here, it's this settlements tab here. Settlements will give you details about where you have been settled to, i.e. what bank account, how much the settlement was for, i.e. the deposited amount, not the gross amount, when we settled you, and the reference that you'll see inside your bank feed in your accounting software. If you want to see what invoices were contained inside of this disbursement, because Pinch Payments does do multi-invoice disbursement, so we call this bulk disbursement, you can click into the TRA settlement ID reference. And from here, you'll be able to see the invoices or payments from payment plans that are contained as part of that disbursement. As well as that, you get more details about the actual amounts and references, but you also get your breakdown of what types of payments they were. So in this case, the specific payment methods that we use in this test environment are all set up to be international visas. So you can see the weighted average of the costing, how much the fees were in total. The last section of the settlement section is our statements feature. This allows you to download a statement for your account that is monthly generated. So every month we'll generate you a statement, and this will give you your total weighted costings of everything related to Pinch. It's very in depth. It's line by line, so it does give you a really good summary. If you have any questions about it, reach out. So that brings us on to our final section. So this is our account management. So this is less about the features, and this is more about ensuring that the system is configured how you want it to be. So the first thing that we're going to look at is account settings. So the account settings tab is down here on the left. Account settings. This is where you set your business organization details, your overarching global settings. So if you create a new customer, these are the settings that they will inherit, and generally where you set your surcharge settings up first time. Reattempt settings, where you can go and apply custom text to the pre-approval and various ways that you can do a pre-approval, where you input your logo, and where you can customize your emails. So that's the account settings feature. The next one is our notifications feature. So notifications is a new feature to Pinch Payments. It allows you to customize which email addresses we send certain subsets of our emails to. So instead of that email address receiving every email, you can now specify an email address and turn on certain types of emails to go to that particular email address. So make sure that you configure that whenever you add a new user or ask the new user to configure their own. Alrighty, next one is integrations. So this is an important tab because this is where you actually initially connect your accounting software down here on the left and manage whether or not your sync is currently working or active. So at the moment, you can see that my connection status to 0 is okay, and we did a sync very early this morning, a major sync. As well as that, you can see your merchant and secret keys, and then you can also connect to other systems as well from this integrations tab. If you are experiencing any kind of sync issues, like your general account sync, like invoices are not appearing, hit this sync now button once. If that doesn't resolve the issues, please do contact support, and that will allow our team to investigate. Hitting this button, if you have invoices that are not being correctly marked as paid in your accounting software, hitting sync now does not resolve that issue, and you will need to contact support for us to investigate what's going on. So that's the integrations tab. The next one is our documents section. This is where you go and upload your verification documents to the Pinch system. This will be changing relatively soon and actually be up here in this merchant application button. But at the moment, this is where you can input those files. And the last one is our accounting system integration config. So in this case, this would be 0, but if you're using MyOb or QuickBooks, that will appear here. So if I click into this, this is where you manage how Pinch behaves with your Xero branding theme and whether Pinch is applied, allowing clients to opt in or automatically charging people on via pre-approvals on that branding theme. For QuickBooks and MyOb, unfortunately, this isn't a configuration option, and it's either all on or all off. But for Xero users, you do have the ability to set up multiple different themes and decide whether Pinch is your default gateway or not. It's important to note, if you disconnect and reconnect your accounting software, please always head back to the Xero config section, head to the second page, and just make sure that the bank account that we are reconciling your funds against matches the bank account that we're actually dispersing you to, and hit save. Sometimes this can reset itself if you have multiple different accounts, and your settlements will be broken, much like what you can see down here, red lines. So that's everything that you need to know about navigating